The small town of Gyantse in southern Tibet is home to about 8,000 people. The majority here are ethnic Tibetan, and they live in the old part of town. Whereas the Chinese, mostly newcomers to Gyantse, live in the new part. For some Tibetans, the harsh reality of living cheek by jowl with the Chinese is a daily experience. Others hold on to their traditional way of life in a rapidly changing world. In this series, we followed ordinary Tibetans for a whole year. Such unprecedented access to one of the most remote and mysterious places on Earth has allowed us to create, for the very first time, a unique and intimate portrait of Tibet today. Since 1951, Tibet has been part of the People's Republic of China. The Tibetans claim they were overrun by a vastly superior Chinese army. The Chinese maintain they were only legitimizing their rightful claim over Tibet. But what is not in dispute is that the lives of ordinary Tibetan people have changed dramatically and permanently during more than 50 years of Chinese communist rule. Gyantse is home to the Pelkhor monastery, which dates back to the 15th century. It's the monasteries in Tibet which represent the biggest political challenge to the Chinese government. The deputy head lama here is Tsultrim. He's in charge of disciplining the monks and the finances of the monastery. Now his boss, head lama Tsephun, has asked Tsultrim to organize the most important event in Gyantse for a generation. Tsultrim has to prepare for the imminent arrival of the Panchen Lama. It's effectively a state visit by the most senior Buddhist living in China today. But the security surrounding the visit is so tight that the authorities won't even tell the monks which day he's coming. The 11th Panchen Lama was only 6 when the Chinese declared that he was Tibet's new spiritual leader, and his position has been very controversial ever since. The inevitable tensions surrounding his visit are going to make Tsultrim's job even more difficult over the next few weeks. Tsultrim has asked Tsephun, the youngest monk in the monastery, to help. Tsephun is 15 years old, and he's been a novice since he was 12. Tsephun will remember the next few weeks for the rest of his life. Over the years, Gyantse has become a popular tourist destination for both Westerners and Chinese. Jinzang is Tibetan, and he owns one of the better budget hotels in town. He's got 40 rooms, but most of them are empty. It's a risky business running a small hotel. Gyantse could go from profit to loss literally overnight. And Gyantse is worried about the competition in town. With no money and no guests, Gyantse has every right to be concerned. Tsephun's been held up, and now he's running late for morning prayers. At last, Gyantse's got some visitors. A Dutch couple's checking in, but they think their Chinese driver has overcharged them, and they've asked Gyantse to help.
How do you say it? Gyantse.
Like all educated Tibetans, Gyantse is fluent in Chinese. But even though they might speak the same language, Tibetans don't consider themselves to be Chinese, and there's often tension between the two.
我怪不就怪的不会说英语，但是他也不能亏我。这你们都会英语的话，你们都会英语的话，这也不能亏咱们，是不是？你就说他就说从日喀则行了，这200块钱，这算日喀则的。
你根本没有说，最好不要说了，哎呀，咱就回去。
我就是
追杀到底，
我就是好心烧他了，是不是？我就是好心烧他，他给我个油钱呀。这这不对，这太阳欺负中国人。
不是欺负中国人，中国人违反了中国的法律。为什么？你没有手续拉他们是，这属于不对哦。这次你把这叫旅局、叫公安局。 反正你就规定了，最好你就回去。这农场的这是老就是，让了行政提名都是看吧。学过去的可以安排现的，保这人民的话，讲真先生你要不忙吧？天你没啷个没现大或者什么路的话，天几个人呢你都天你，我不他们这样说啊，我不是他们个天你跟这提起是，第一次来你就这样吧，都是提这干这边是。
有没有回拉萨的呀？有没有回拉萨的？有没有？
没有，现在你最好空的回去。这个地方好多那些开出租车的找你的麻烦哦。
Bye. Okay.
The relationship between Tibetans and Chinese is never easy, and Gyantse always prefers foreign tourists.
那我就特别差别不了嘛。每天旁边人行，讲那出身下水。 每天把所水旁边用人，所加个拖呢，引起面积特种个怕写不写的，马学送了吧？我那阵去过，开始写呀个季节过了，青海写当个听着面得劲呢，过两来偏没着上，俺就龙波写大中间记住青年鸟着鸟穷没着上，鸟着穷俺就表示生的，就这毛不吧？听见了吗？是的啊，咱这差不多这样写去。 아라도 대박 미라스를 지제 미라스는 직시나 사야서 봐 미국 또배 지야서 신경에서
Tangmai is a typical Tibetan village, just half an hour's drive from Gyantse. 90% of all Tibetans live in the countryside, and life here has changed little for generations. Tsephun is a shaman and a Buddhist. He claims to have extraordinary powers as a spiritual healer. His knowledge has passed down to him from his father and for generations before that. This morning, Zeden has several sick villagers waiting for his attention. Zeden's first patient is a woman with toothache. Shamanism was practiced in Tibet long before Buddhism arrived from India over 1,000 years ago. The shaman is part spiritual healer and part earthly advisor, and Zeden lives two quite separate lives, one in the spiritual world and the other in the material world. Zeden believes that illness comes from evil spirits inhabiting the body, and by spitting on the woman, he can drive the spirits away. The woman leaves, apparently cured of her toothache. There's a couple of weeks to go before the Panchen Lama's visit, and Sultrim is off to find some priceless cushions for his throne. Nobody's been into the storeroom for years, and they've no idea where to look, or even what they might find. Sultrim has to get the throne ready for the new Panchen Lama, but it's the wrong size. Gyantse has its own Western-style hospital. A young woman's just been admitted. She's heavily pregnant, she's been in a lot of pain, and the doctor is worried.
다와 개베체 조선이 뭐거든요. 이 민간의 지정기 한다 용배. 근데 용수도 괜히 뭐고 나박한다 수그라 접대어서도 용. 근데 다와 뒤나서 주잖아요. 보고 다 쇼시에 기능 가서도 산도 붙이 했는데 민간의 나 괜히 뭐고 신지天배.
어리지류도 이동 근데 제일 맞지. 이동 왜다.
Alcohol abuse is a big problem in Tibet, and the doctor suspects that this could be behind Deki's complication. Back in Deki's house in the village, her family are worried and they don't want to put all their faith in Western medicine. This is a job for Zeden. Zeden's first job is to make lu, which are offerings to the evil spirits. These are traditional figurines made from butter and barley flour. They're all part of an elaborate ritual to placate the spirits and persuade them to leave the house. If the offerings do placate the evil spirits, they will hopefully leave Deki alone. This ritual to drive out the evil spirits will take Zeden the whole day. Back in Gyantse, Jinzang is trying to find ways to improve his business. He's recently been awarded 2 stars for his hotel, but he's worried the rating might make people think his hotel's too expensive. So, he's taken matters into his own hands. But it's not quite that simple. Jinzang has to get official permission to remove his star rating. So he calls the regional tourist bureau and they've sent a delegation over to check him out. The officials are Tibetan, but like most people in positions of authority in China, they can make his life very difficult. Things have not got off to a good start. Worried that the inspectors will insist that he keeps his 2-star rating, Jinzang hopes that a bit of generous hospitality will help make them change their mind.
如果玩个说，干嘛弄痛了？这些反正这个多少？对的。
In the end, they reach a typical Chinese compromise so that nobody loses face.
个人不关键，他们说是心，你不要挂在这里，领导来的时候挂在这里，平时放在办公室里面。那我就有话说了，是吧？你不挂就行了，放在办公室里。
Back in the hospital, Deki has taken a big decision, despite her serious condition. Back in Deki's home, Tsephun is coming to the climax of his elaborate ritual. It now remains to be seen whether it's the doctors or the shaman who help Deki most. The Panchen Lama's visit is getting close, and Sultrim is behind with the decorations. His tailors have been working overtime, and still they're not finished.
당고도 걔는 이제 생래래. 나이는 저도 좀 있을 때.现在 배지고라 심미노 센달래. 나이.
At last, the parasol is finished, but Zultrim still has to give it his final approval.
교진에 가는다. 보다 비중네. 비중네.
오. 제일 많아.
Deki is home from hospital, and her reliance on both modern medicine and the shaman seems to have worked. Zultrim is making good progress, but he's got one more problem. The monastery is home to about 50 stray dogs. The monks are quite happy to have them around, but not for the Panchen Lama's visit. But as always, Zultrim has a plan. Zultrim gets to put his plan into action, and Tsephun gets to feed the dogs with the drugged food. But the drugs aren't working, and the dogs have every reason to be nervous. So that's only 45 to go. Zultrim's plan hasn't worked and he needs help, but it's not very subtle. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Deki's suddenly gone into labour and she's been rushed to her local village clinic. In Tibet, 1 in 10 babies die before their first birthday, 3 times the Chinese average. The baby's 4 weeks premature and Deki's still not well. Like most Tibetans, Deki's family is superstitious. They're worried that if we film the birth, it'll bring them bad luck. It's taken a while, but at last, Tsultrim has got his monks together to start cleaning the monastery. It's not been properly cleaned since the previous Panchen Lama's visit nearly 20 years ago, and nobody really knows where to start.
장다 아무 도차 팀 중에서 도를 저기를 따고 저기요. 오늘. 도가 나한테 가서 로데 레스레스 마도 뭐 달로 더는 자 약가 총술. 뭐 당가티 뭐 보두지 당지 간다 총술. 로중 다바지 다 감바 공바 군대 샤워 권에 바지 당분면 걸. 특장다 되게 총목자.
나. 다시 넘바티 녀를 쳐. 언제로 되지? 깜부디. 집에 내나 내 가서서 되는데. 다 됐어. 다 와야 돼. 녀를 다시 넘바티 피서. 갈래 필요는 저거 좀 맞을 간 마음도. 신우는
안다지 깨면
다시가 뒤져 사단로.
어다 더 생각보다 벤처를 비비에 들어니다는 지지가 그 마음에 제가
피 다가나 소 모르네시 주비나 팀으로 전웅선 다다시나 다주 된슈 부 이제 손에 거진 제시 tin다시 놀
With the Panchen Lama's visit now only a few days away, the hotels in town are beginning to fill up. And Jinzang's had a bit of luck. Jinzang's plan seems to be working. He's got rid of his 2-star rating, his hotel's getting busy, and there's a restaurant full of hungry hikers. Although China's had a single-child policy since the 1970s, the law has never been applied to ethnic Tibetans, and this is now Deki's 5th child.
现在今天还熬了手了，给他缠住的。给我的地上手给他缠住，熬了，拉的当老远会给这小伙呢，小伙。
Back in Gyantse, the tailors have finished, the dogs have been rounded up, and the monastery's been cleaned. But Ziltrim's still got a million things to do, and he hasn't yet learnt the art of delegating. The Panchen Lama's visit is really good news for Zhenzang.
간서는 고도 장스 반대 캥도 갈. 텐도 들어가. 더 강바 강나 chen. 강바를 숨져 주주 좀. 강반 유저를. 뭐서 캐나다에서 라베. 다 꺼내 쟤는 안다 거 작슈지 고도 루주다 센도 떨어서 라체.
Zhenzang's hotel might be full, but he's now got a new problem. He needs a plumber, and quickly. At the monastery, the final security plans are falling into place.
Thank you, so bars. Sorry? Yana did a pair of things. I was on. You was yes. I do stuff. Yeah, the end. Tooth.
The atmosphere in town is tense. The relationship between the monasteries and the government has always been strained. The authorities are worried that somebody might sabotage the visit, so they're taking no chances. The security chief is making sure that his plans are in place.
咱们这边呢是这次84安全保卫工作，不是那个呢是咱们什么时候到位啊？做研究。他刚刚讲了，他刚刚过来了，完了也4点钟过来，要不的话呢，一个呢是平交路口比较多，再一个呢是那个桥梁涵洞这些呢是由这个支队警管支队在负责。
At the hotel, Zhenzang's builder has come to check out the problem. And it's not good news. At the monastery, Tsephun's been asked to be the lead flower bearer in the procession. It's the most important thing he's ever been asked to do. But things aren't going quite so well for Zultrim. Zultrim is meant to be organising the visit, but Chuful, the head lama, has his own ideas about what should happen. Now, the Deputy Communist Party chief in Gyantse wants things done his way. The problem they have is the Chinese government restricts the number of monks in every monastery. Zultrim now doesn't have enough monks to fulfill the correct protocol for the Panchen Lama's visit. So he has to make the procession look as if there are more monks than there really are. It's turned out to be Jinzang's lucky day. His hotel is full, the pipes are unblocked, and the plumbers are a bargain. At last, it's the big day, and everything is ready. Well, almost. The final job is to decorate the entrance to the temple. It's almost 20 years since the previous Panchen Lama made a visit to Gyantse, and today is a rare public appearance of the new Panchen Lama. Gyantse has never seen security at this level before. It's all because of the controversy which surrounds the choice of the new Panchen Lama.
저기도 어디죠?
Gyantse Norbu is the 11th Panchen Lama, and he's now 17 years old. In the past, the new Panchen Lama was selected from a list of several candidates by the Dalai Lama. But the Chinese government rejected the Dalai Lama's choice and appointed one of the other candidates. And this is what the controversy is all about. Gyantse Norbu also happens to be the son of 2 Tibetan Communist Party members. Gyantse Norbu has been living in Beijing ever since he was chosen to be the new Panchen Lama at the age of 6. All part of his education to become Tibet's new spiritual leader. His first event of the day is to bless the monks. Outside, the good citizens of Gyantse patiently wait their turn. Despite heavy censorship in the country, ordinary Tibetans know all about the controversy surrounding the choice of their young leader. But, as good Buddhists, they accept the situation and show appropriate respect, even to a Panchen Lama of doubtful origins. Today, the monks are giving away pictures of the Panchen Lama. However, any images of the Dalai Lama are strictly banned in Tibet, and even having one in your possession could put you in prison. The Dalai Lama hasn't lived in Tibet since 1959, when he escaped after the Tibetan uprising. He's lived in exile ever since, a constant thorn in the side of the Chinese authorities. But whatever the controversy surrounding the young Panchen Lama, the devotion of ordinary Tibetan people is clear to see, and there's little doubt that today is a very special one for the people of Gyantse.
군대 돌아간 거. 림바카고 어디 혼자. 오늘 혼자기 뒤에 응원바 체외 미유래 하체. 승다. 티셔도 어디 응원에기 내가 태워준 게 돌아만.
그렇죠. 나무다스 클로테파 왔다이나.
It's traditional that monks make a wish after being blessed by the Panchen Lama.
군대 제대로는 메라 다 찍네. 산제지 땜바타오. 니네 되는 메마 상만 대시 기고요. 안주 중앙 메마 찍게 제가 알레 대시 제요.